Recording in progress.
They're a little too big. Are you all?
It's rolling. It's live. The only thing is the mic's on.
Good no Shabbos. The yeshiva pointed out once in the beginning of Toldos, it says, Ela Toldos Yitzchak and Avram Ha'ilud is Yitzchak. It's half a pasuk, very simple, and the reason that it is, also goes to people who really don't believe. Don't believe, so the Torah tells us, Avram Ha'ilud is Yitzchak. Because obviously until Avimelech took her, she didn't have a kid. And all of a sudden, after Avimelech took her, she has a kid. So therefore, the Chosh is Avimelech's kid. But before, Sarah, when she talks about it, she says, Hanika bonim Sarah, and there's whatever it is there. So that's already a lot of words, more than this, Avram Ha'ilud Yitzchak. And that's when you're talking about Litzoni Ador, people who make fun. So once you crack the joke, that has a lot of effect. It's very bad. You have it sometimes in a class. You give a good shtickle musa, and everybody seems to be listening well to it. And one kid makes a crack or a joke out of it, and all of a sudden the whole effect goes off from everybody. It doesn't just go off from him, it goes off from everybody. Because all of a sudden nobody wants to take it seriously. So therefore the Latzonis, when you make it as a crack, has a bigger effect than as a statement that people don't believe. Now, I don't know if it's will affect an unzel midas, but I think it would. You know, there's when I was a kid, it used to be things, sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. So that used to be that, you know, what are you complaining about, guys who are calling your name? It's a big deal. That can't hurt you, right? In Yiddish, it don't go that way. A klap vergeht, a Wort steht. When you go bang, we'll get well. But a word goes in, it stays there. So it's just the opposite, the thing over there. So the point that you understand it's that is the psychological is a lot worse than the physical. That's the main thing. Okay. There's a gematria here from from Shlomo Alkabaz. Vayos Eloi. That's Gematria is Chamisha Shonim. And whoever brought down that Gematria also says, I'm not say, but I thought of it myself. So originally I don't remember if he said it, but I think the guy told it me from him too. The Avram dies 5 years earlier, right? Because Esav is going to go out to Toldos, and the Bensham told him that he won't see. He'll be there to save a teva, so he won't see Esav going out to Toldos. So he died 175 instead of 180. But if Yitzchak would not have davened, Avram could have lived to 180, and then Esav would have been born 5 years later, right? So the idea is your praying made the trouble. So now you have a problem. How do you daven? According to this, so remember, this is not a new. Rashi God says too much. Rashi says. Now, what do you mean? What's called too much? In other words, so by Moshe we know, V'eschanan 5:15, he told him keep quiet. So 5:15 is the number, would be. I have no idea. But and it's not because the Benshul would have listened because 5:16 works and 5:15 don't work. The reason 5:16 works and 5:15 don't work is the Benshul doesn't want to look like an arzo. So if Moshe Rabbeinu was begging, and he begged so till 5:15, you're not an arzo. Don't ask me why they're not. But it's 5:16, you become an arzo. Okay, so 5:15, we know you're not allowed to daven that much. Well, yet we daven Shmones every day, 3 times a day. So I daven definitely more than 515 times. So that you can answer is that most of the things are needed every time. Food, we need all every minute. So it's not an instant thing there. What about Mashiach? What about Yerushalayim? What about those things? Kabbalas. Is that a nudge? Or again, you're allowed to ask after a certain time. What's a certain time? What, 5 hours? So I can't answer that. It could be it. But obviously, we do see that there's a thing that was called the nujitsu fil. In other words, that the Bensham don't keep repeating it. So then the question is, how do we daven, let's say, for kids? That doesn't have kids. He wants to keep davening. Daven every Shmones. So going from this, I would think, I say I have no real rayas one way or the other. So, but this is just my own svara. Is that a woman, obviously, if she becomes a nida, obviously she didn't become pregnant. So that way, So if a guy prays, he prays once, give me a kid, when she becomes Torah. When she becomes tummy again, so then he has a right to pray again. But because the right of Benshul didn't accept the first tefillah, so we can give a second tefillah. But how do you know the Benshul didn't accept the tefillah yet? So why are you nudging again for? That's the problem. So that's why it's not so poshut to me exactly what you have to do. You have to do all the Gemaras. It's not poshut, but the Benshul has the care to answer you right away. That's you got to know. So in the Baba Chilki, you have that you answered right away. So it was by the 12, the davening, the Clyde came, and it came from the woman's side. So obviously, it can't come right away. Obviously, having a kid can't come if there's no tashmish, so you can't have a kid. But as soon as you can have it defer right immediately. It's not a point that has to be, afterwards.
When he's just told me, should I do once, or should I do once, or could I always do it until she comes start?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Could she do it when she's tummy?
No, so I'm saying, she can do it when she becomes Torah. But then it's a tefillah. But why am I asking again? I asked for it last month, right? But last month you weren't mekabel my tefillah, so I can ask again. You know what I mean? If I didn't turn you down yet, why are you asking me again? We assume that I'm going to give it to you. Why are you assuming I'm not going to give it to you?
You're allowed to ask only once? So only once?
Yeah, so that's what I would think. Once every month, like, you know.
Gemara says that. Gemara says Shnaim Ola L'Garden.
What?
Gemara says Shnaim Ola L'Garden. One said it's Tefillah Shlema, which is why he's Nana.
Okay.
So you always doubt yourself that it was the Tefillah Shlema, which is why you keep on doing it.
You mean, so I'm only davening once, you mean? I just don't know which one is the once.
Yes.
Okay. So that's a different story, but not say I keep praying. I'm not keeping praying. I'm only praying once. I didn't pray yet. So, all right, so you tell me I got to try again. Okay. Anyway, she has twins, and she doesn't know she has twins, and they're kicking her. And I guess Lama Noichi is shot because it's contradictory, the kid. She passes the Aveda Zorah, she gets a kick. She passes the base measure, she gets a kick. Like this kid's a little mixed up kid, you know. So where do you go? So she goes to Shem. Why didn't she go to Avram? Why didn't she go to? So I would assume that she was choishish a lot. That has to do that, you know, my family maybe has ashpoya on me. You know, I got all the chesrenis, the genetic genes that are no good that come from my family. So I don't want to tell about the shver and my husband, you know, that you know that it is. They'll have charot on the shidduch or whatever it is. So it could be. I don't really know. But we don't know for sure that Shem does not tell, or she does not tell Yitzchok what Shem tells her. Now, why not? And how do we know that he didn't tell? Because Vayim v'yomer lo ledis v'hinei soimen bevitna. Like we first discovered it. We just talking about before that you have twins and then they don't know. What do you mean v'hinei soimen bevitna? You just discovered it. We knew about it the whole time. Elavos Yitzchak didn't know about it the whole time. Then it was the thing. So why didn't she tell him? Because you're a Navi. So a Navi, God wants to tell you, he'll tell you. He doesn't want to tell you. But we see this more strongly by Yitzchak knew Yosef was alive in Mitzrayim. And he never told it to Yaakov. Yaakov was always aggravating the whole time. Because Yaakov is a Navi, God wants to tell him, he'll tell him. He doesn't want to tell him, he can't tell him. He doesn't, you know, what am I going to tell him? The man doesn't want him to know, whatever that means. You know, thing there. And you'll say, your baby wasn't zoichet to that nevu, that there's no such thing. So we don't understand exactly a Navi, but to answer other things there, how Sarah knew her name was changed, and all these things before when the Malachim said to him, Ayeh Sor Yishtecha, right? It's Gimel Milosei, right? Does she know her name was changed? Right? He mouthed himself, Rashi says, immediately upon the tzivui. He mouthed himself. And then I saw he got sick, right? I don't think he changed the names on the mailbox. That's for sure not. It's too much work, right? That he didn't know. But he could have told her, right? Or he was so much in pain, like, you know, when I could calm down, then I'll tell her. So when the Malach said that, they should have said, wrong address. No, but, right? Well, why didn't she? So because she's a bigger Navi than Avram, so she knows all the Nevuos that came to Avram. That's why it says, look, but how do you give a Asroya to a Navi? Okay, Echav HaNaviim can give it because they know who one of the things that Chayiv Misa is the one who's allowed, the only one that can say the Nevuah was the one that was mitzvah to say the Nevuah. But every Navi hears the Nevuah. So they know that the guy said the wrong one, they give him hasroilet. You want to say, you can't say it. So, a Navi knows everything. He's, I guess, what does he do for a living? You ever think about it? Well, how does Navi make a living? He's a plumber, electrician, could be. I have no idea. Maybe a Rosh Hashiva, could be. But we see from Shmuel that he took care of the lost and found. When Shaul lost the donkeys, they went to Shmuel. And they go to the Chayzer. The Chayzer is supposed to see. No. So obviously he's able to see wherever in the world is, the donkeys are over there. How did he not see in the bedrooms? Right? So what, they all steal lead line, Superman, how's it go there? The lead line things, you can't see through lead. Just Lachnaroshkeiten. So whatever it is there. But it's all open, that's the main thing. To him, a Navi, everything's open. And Lefi the Madrega, I believe, there's 10 Madregas in Nevuah. Lefi the Madrega of Nevuah, that's also open to him always. So whatever's happening, God's talking. God never talks to any Navi. That's what it says in the Nosai. The Rashi ties it up. That's a Kli Kovel Amokim. The Leishim doesn't this that he was looking for an excuse to talk to Sarah, right? So it means only to Sarah he wanted to talk. He doesn't talk to Freyen like a lot of people tell you, like, oh, he only talks to men. Why does he only talk to men? God's a man? I don't know if he's a man, right? Why does he only talk to men, right? Elavos, it means I don't talk to anybody. I don't talk to women. So, but why do I want anybody? I don't talk to men either. That's what it says. So he doesn't even talk to Moshe. Moshe said that, Yom Hashem Moshe, right? He said his favorite, Yikra Hashem Moshe, right? No, he doesn't talk to Moshe. He talks loud enough that Moshe can hear. But he's talking only between him and himself. God doesn't talk to people. So he doesn't talk to women. Yet, Sarah was so special that he wanted to talk to Sarah, even though she's a woman. Why? Because I think this is the yichus, that's the only thing I can figure that's special about her, that the Torah is never miyachis her to Terach. It's always, she's the granddaughter of Terach, so right there, so it's a nice beginning. She's always Avram's wife. She's not called Terach's granddaughter. And that's why it's at the end of Noach is where it tells you this. But it says there, Avram, Vayikach Avram Nochel Lehem Noshim Shem Eishes Avram Sorai V'Shem Eishes Nochel Milka Bas Horon Avi Milka Vayi Yiske. Doesn't say Sora, it says Yiske, right? But so Rashi tells us Yiske is Sora. Okay, good. So we got the Yichah straight, but they don't say it. Then it says Vayikach Terach Es Avram Benoi V'Sloi Ben Horon Ben Benoi V'Sorai Bakalosoi Eishes Avram. Doesn't say his granddaughter, Basa Benoi or something like that. So somehow her kedusha was so great that you're not even meyachas to Terach. So somehow I want to talk to her, whatever that means. I want to give a musa. Okay, good. Whatever, whatever he said, you get this musa. Give it. Okay. Then they have the twins. Now, the twins is, Rashi goes into the Indian, how is Yaakov the Bechor? First one in is the last one out, right? That don't sound right. The guy has twins now, right? The first birth is twins. Who's the Bechor? The first one out. Let's place them on a cup with the second one out. First one out. So your whole theory is wrong. So what do you mean? What do you tell me? So I want to try a new thing. God, the Gemara says that it wasn't only that she was an Akora. The others were also Akora, Yikrim. L'Yisravam Yitzchak. Avram is not so posh, but the Yitzchak will hold Pachas L'Yilakor also. His problem of being an Akor was that he couldn't be Moitzi Zera. So it will be the first Zera that ever came out of him, that's Yaakov. And that we see there's a special mile in that Reuven is called Reishis Oini, what he called, like that. It's not just that, because by a father, how do you becher a father? The Zera wasted already. So how you becher, right? All of us, you're the oldest kid of a father born through a woman, born through a mother. So it's not a father, it's a mother. So what's it? Why are you calling it the father? So I'm saying, but otherwise there's no other way of doing it. You can't have a bechor of them if you don't go through the moment. Elavotz, unless it was the first zera, then he's the bechor. Yom is the bechor. So they only have two in history that we know according to that, Reuven and Yitzchak. So Yaakov. So Yaakov was the bechor really, because he was the first zera. They're not identical twins. So therefore, it's not one zera with one egg, and they're not identical. One's all hairy and one's all clean, whatever it is. So they're not identical. So they needed two eggs and two zeras. So therefore, was a point that it's a different. It's not the first zera. So why do you need this whole kunsten? He bought the becher and then he told for the bracha, this, that. Of course, nobody's going to believe it. They're married 20 years. There's no zera until 20 years, right? So the thing is that so that he does something that the world is also going to call him a crook because of it. But all those Jew crooks, they started off with Yaakov, the thing over there. So he's the thing there. That's why he has to go through this whole business. Okay. And obviously they started the Loshitz there, Tzayid Yeshiv, that says Yaakov Yitzchak loved Esav because Tzayid Yeshiv. Doesn't mean because he gave him food. Because Tzayid Yeshiv, he fools him. What do you mean he fools him? He was asking stupid questions. Mamish. And Yitzchak knew their stupid questions. Does you have to give meiser on salt? You got to use this. They're stupid questions. That means you didn't listen to the shiur. That he knew for sure, right? So your battle. Or you want to put on an axe for me. You want to pretend that you're a good guy. Why do you want to pretend? I'm not moneying you, right? You want to pretend because you want to please me. So, mate, some of you really want to be a good kid. Right? How many parents do you have like that? They have a rotten kid and they tell you, no, but he's really a good kid. He's really good. What makes him a good kid? I can't cash you what makes him a good kid, but he's a good kid. So Esav was also a good kid. But Rivka knows that Esav is a bum. Now, I want to say that Yaakov knew that he's a bum mamish also. Because when he tells them by the bracha, I want you to tightly tzoyed, don't steal. He also told you better shecht it. So why they're not going to tell that to Yaakov, right? Tell of us, I know you're a crook, and I know you're this, and you take the easy way out. But for me, you're not going to lie to me, so it's never like a big. So he trusts him for that he's not going to lie to him. And therefore, he was able to tell it to him. That was the heter that he can, even though he's a shegit, he can trust him. But Lamaisa, he knew who he was. It wasn't fooled, oh, he thought he was a real for me. He didn't think he was a for me at all. Okay. And the cause and effect can happen at the same time. So what made them go out to Toldos law? Avram died, right? Because how could Avram die? It's impossible. If that's the right way, then Avram got to go further. He can't die. If he died, it's a right on emes. So therefore, I don't believe it. If it's not emes, so then Avram had died before this happens, right? So you have the cause and effect at the same time. He's saying there. Anyway, he goes. So this was the day that he murdered. He was mizaneh. He did a lot of things that day. He killed Nimrod. He was lived with his wife. So he was a real shegitz that day. And it says that Ya'akov nosan le'esav lechem v'nezil adashim v'yochav v'yesh v'yokem v'yive esav v'yayirach v'yive esav as habachayra. What was he mefaset? In what way? So you see from here that the bizoyin is that it's not choshev to him. What do you mean it's not choshev? He wanted to be a kohen. Why not? The Kohen came to him, he became. But he knew that it's not going to stay by him. It's going to go to Levi. So if it's going to Levi, so Lomali B'chayra, it's only for a short piece of time. It has an end. It's Lomos, so there's no yichus for me. It's one time, a week, a month, a year. It's not negayed to me. So that's called Vayivas Esus B'chayra. We see this B'Payel by the Kohen G'dayla, and we see it also by the Messias. You see, by the Kohen G'dayla, it's a Kimchas, right? What's the Yichus of Kimchas? She had six kids of Mishamish B'Kohen G'dayla, right? Why is that a Yichus? I think that's the biggest tragedy in the world. She had six kids of B'Kohen G'dayla, 5 of them died in her lifetime. So what's the Yichus, right? So I wouldn't say that's a good thing. So Elavos doesn't mean that. It means only one was Kohen Gadol. But he became Tommy 5 times. And the son was Mishamish, and his brothers were Mishamish B'Kohen G'dayla. The 6 kids that were Mishamish B'Kohen G'dayla. That was the yichus of it. And you see the guy, the Kohen, that takes over for the Kohen Gadol when he gets Tomei. So the din is that he's not allowed to, he can't be Mishamish L'Shmei Begodim, because the Kohen is going to be upset, the Kohen Gadol. And he can't be Mishamish Be'arba Begodim, because Ma'alam become a Ka'idish Emeriten. So once he was used 8 begodim, he has to use 8 begodim. He can't use 4 begodim anymore. And the Kohen Gadol won't let. So therefore, it's a one-time deal. The guy, when he serves his Kohen Gadol on Yom Kippur, he's out of business. He can't even do avodah anymore. So why would anybody want to do that? But one time I was Kohen Gadol. That's the thing there. So where do you find it about Nesius? The same thing really. When they kicked out the Rav Gamliel, they put in Lozman Azariah, so he told it over to his wife. So his wife said to him, why are you doing that? Just like they threw him out, they're going to throw you out. And which is in the end they did. The only question is they made a pshorah, only once in 3 weeks, once in 4 weeks. They left him there, but they threw him out. Yep, so he answers, what does he answer his wife? At one time, I'm still the Nossi. So that's a big zacha, because a machshiv l'nesiyus, a machshiv being that thing, one day. And there's a story, what he called that a Jew was the king of Poland for one day. I forgot what his name is from there. I know some of the kids who came from there, they keep a record. So every door they tell their kids, you should know your grandfather, or whatever it was there, was king of Poland for one day. What's the big deal? First of all, who cares about Poland in the first place? And and then you were king of Poland one day, big deal, Elavos, you were king of Poland one day. You come from royalty. By Shaul also, when Achashverosh started to talk to Esther, it is there because she's royalty. She comes from Shaul HaMelech, that's 500 years ago. What's the yichus? Not really 500, 410 years ago. But what's the yichus then? But Lamaisa, it's still, it's folk van Amelach, what's going on, they think like that. Okay, so what am I going to tell you? Yeah. You see an interesting thing, which I don't really know why he changed, but the thing is, Avram, when he talked to Pari seemed to complain, why did he say yes was a chosi? He doesn't bother answering him at all. Because you're a bum, I know you're a murderer, no kasha, so we really understand you're not really questioning why I did it, because it's Parshas why I did it. And the thing over this, Tavi Melech, he answers, and he says, and she's really my sister, right? Yitzchak can't say she's my sister, because she's not a niece. The Neibanim Kibanim, that's how it works. So it's a cousin. So cousin doesn't count as sister. So he just says, they would have killed me about it. But he answers him. But he doesn't give the same answers, so either they deteriorated in that time between Avram and Yitzchak, or what, that I can't answer you. Okay. And they kick him out. Right? Because he was bimatzliach. Like they have good reasons why they always hate Jews. They're matzliach. They don't like Jews. But the one is, we learn three types of chesed. Even though we all get the genetics from Avram, that's what we consider. He's a Rachman, a Baishon, a Gom Chasodim, right? But we have two other others, one of and one aim that added chesed to us. Rivka, her chesed, and Yitzchak. What's Yitzchak's chesed? What did the Mitzrayim do? They filled up all the wells that Avram dug, right? And then he kicks them out. So Vayelch Misham Yitzchak, Vayicham Benachal Groh, and he settled Nachal Groh, right? And then Vayoshev Yitzchak went back. Vayachber Sabeirus Hamayim Asher Chofru B'mei Avram. He dug up all the wells that they filled up, not for himself, because he's not there anymore. He filled it up for them, because he knew, why did they fill it up? They didn't fill it up because they don't need the water. They filled it up, they don't want him to have the water. But they need the water. So whatever it is, they need the water. They did it mishigas, they did it for this reason. I'm still going back and doing them the favor. That's a tremendous chesed. The guy's trying to do yirah, and I'm going back to do him a favor. That's a tremendous chesed. So, what just that the people say, what do you do for you? Don't know anything, stuff like that. Still got to be chabal chesed. Again, just we have the from the others. Yeah. Okay.
You didn't know Avimelech HaKaras HaToif?
I'm sorry.
You didn't know Avimelech HaKaras HaToif? You didn't stay in his land?
He did it for that reason? Could be. Even though, obviously, he did talk tough to them when they came to him. They want to make a bris. He says, why are you making a bris with me? You guys don't like me, right? So he tells them, we didn't kill you. And it's a pretty nice thing to do, to tell you, we don't want you to do bad to us. Just like we didn't kill you, you shouldn't kill us. Okay, good, fine. Now we're best friends, okay? But he was, obviously, he did it. Okay, now, what do you call it? Yitzchak, Esav is trying to imitate Yitzchak. So he gets married at 40, because that's what when Yitzchak got married at 40, and he marries two women. And the funny part is that one of these two women are not mentioned. when you're going to have it later on in Vayishlach, it's going to tell us who they married, who Yosef marries. We don't find Yehuda's bas Beiri anymore. You find only Vama bas Ano. So Rashi over there says that Olivama is Yehuda's bas Beiri. Now it's pretty funny. There it says Achivi, and here it says Achiti. Are you Achiti or Achivi? What are you? You'll say, one letter, what difference it makes? There's people actually say that. I can't answer you for that. As far as I know, the Shivumas, Chivi is not Chiti, and Chiti is not Chivi. But so I think, because we see something, say the Shvach of Timna. Timna was a Pelegish Talifas. So he says, why was Timna a Pelegish Talifas? She's a princess. She's slips my mind. Okay, I can look it up, but she's a princess. And yet she ends up being a Pelegish to think, because that's how much she wanted to attach herself to the children of Avram. Okay, yet Avram was not Mekabela. She wanted to be Megaya, and Avram was not Mekabela. I assume Yitzchak was not Mekabela either. So once not Mekabela, the question, well, now we have to figure out why weren't you Mekabela? But let's first point what they weren't Mekabela. So Esau wants to marry her. He can't call her a Chivi because she, for whatever reason, doesn't want to marry Chivis. What are Chivis? We'll see in a second. So he tells her she's a Chiti. Chitis, we live among them. They're good friends with the Chitis. Right? They seem to get along pretty nicely, so we can get along with the Chitim. We're buried among the Chitim. It's not so bad, Chiti. But the Chivi, they're no good. What's wrong with the Chivi? So as far as I know, the thing that's wrong with the Chivi is they were actors. Where do you find that they were actors? So you have by Chamor, when he's talking to the Shvatim, he says to them, you'll take our girl, he makes them feel like they're the big shots. When he talks to the guys of the city, we're the big shots, and we're going to run. So he can put on an act that's very convincing. We'll call it a politician. But Lamaisa, it's a keich of an act. That's Shem. He was a chivi. Who else was a chivi? The Gevonim. What do you call it? They pretended they come from a far place, and they didn't. So they made a bris with them, and whatever it is there and stuff like that, and didn't kill them anymore. So they're very convincing actors, right? So he calls her, what's he call her? He calls Yehudis. What's Yehudis means? That she's kaifa b'avei Zorah. When we call Jews Yehudim, right? Not because we come from Shevet Yehuda, but because we're kaifa b'avei Zorah. So because we come from all the Shvatim. And this thing goes because Yomi brought back in the time of Yeshio, that whatever was there, some of them, that he was Malach Aleim. So we all come from all the Shvatim, not only from Yehuda. Elavos, Obel, he told that she's really, she's a religious girl. Obviously, but she was a lousy actress, Lamaisa, because you see, she was a Moras Ruach to Rivka and to Yitzchak, that she did the Avodah Zarah. Okay, but Lamaisa, at least was actor, and so why would they want to keep acting out of Klal Yisrael? And acting seems to be who made Hollywood, right? Yidden. So they're in the acting business. So what happened over there? So you want to keep it out of the things, and the Jews have enough actors, So I think what it means is the different methods of acting. One of them is to be a true actor, you have to live like the part you want to live like. So if you want to pretend to be a drunk, you have to become a drunk to see how a drunk has to live. You understand? So now you can act what a drunk is. You can't pretend to be a drunk if you don't know what a drunk is. You know? So the problem of an actor is they don't know who they are. They're not themselves. They're always somebody else. And that's not a good zach. You want to work to love. But it's a shed. You got to know who you are and what you're aiming for and whatever it is. But obviously, Ben Shem had a different plan for us. That's where Osnas comes in. According to the Gemara Bab Basel, Osnas is the daughter of Dinah from Shem. Right? So Yaakov Avinu kicks her out of the house, and they leave her with the medallion there. And Potiphar finds her, whatever it is, then takes her up and raises her. And Paro marries Yosef to Osnas. So, only thing. So now, who the actors that are left in the world? They killed out all the Chivis. So obviously, the rest of the Chivis were killed out. Only Jews are left. So all actors. But I think it's because of Chutz, or because of Golus. We have to be able to put on an act in Golus, you know. We have to give the Derech to certain things that we don't believe in, and we have no chivas to, but we got to pay respects to it, whatever it is there. So to us to live in Golus, we should not have this. So he gave us this acting ability. That's what I can tell you. I have no else. Yeah. Stam say I haven't figured out why. We find that 2 times that Rebbein Shem speaks to Yitzchak. The only 2 times we find he speaks to them. And that's both in this Seder. And both of them he says, I'm speaking to you because of your father Avram. What's wrong with speaking because of Yitzchak? I don't have an answer for that yet. But there's something to think about. Okay, the Yitzchak now wants to give a bracha to Esav. Now, we got to realize, first of all, the bracha that we have from Yitzchak is the bracha of Esav, not the bracha of Yaakov. What would have been the bracha of Yaakov, I have no idea. But let's say Yaakov would have asked for a bracha. What kind of bracha would he give him? Well, I think it would give him more of a ruchnistic bracha. Steige lernen, keep learning, whatever we're going to tell him. And we learned up with a shvacha bracha. Now, for Esav, why was it a shvacha bracha? Because he wanted Esav to be a part of he wanted Besochas Vulnvil. He loved Esav, so he wanted him to be part of the deal. So, but Learning he's not going to learn. So what are we going to do with him? He'll be the supporter of Torah, right? So that's what Yitzchak was hoping for. And therefore he gave him the bracha that he gives it to you once. If you're good, he'll give it to you again. If you're not good, he's not going to give it to you. Esav's bracha, when Esav said, "Bracha achas l'chol avi," he gives him a bracha, mishbani ortzish, whatever is there, means you're always going to have the money and always going to have hatzlacha. Why is that unfair? That's pretty unfair. No. If you're asking me for a bracha of gashmias, I'll give you a bracha of gashmias. You want a bracha of ruchnias, I can't give it to you with unlimited because you may be a bum and you want to stop them from learning, so therefore, have to. And I used to point out that this happens all the time. That's not the thing then. I gave it as I'll give you a case, maybe it's a thing which never happened or not, that I don't know. But the other places we have sometimes the board, it's a leftist board, it's a rightist board from a yeshiva. How did they get to be a leftist board? How did they get in there? Because the guys got tired of raising money, so they gave over to the lefties. And the leftists got tired, so they got back to the righties. Who knows what happened, though? But the mice b'chol yom in certain communities. I gave the marshal a guy, a good yeshiva man. He's going out of town becoming a Rav. And he's going to make that town something. They have a day school there that unfortunately doesn't have school on Sunday. And they feel they finish 3 o'clock every day because you can't be late in the public schools and stuff like that. So how much do you learn in those schools, right? I'm going to come in, I'm going to make a yeshiva, I'm going to make a thing, there's Sunday schools there, and it's going to be till 6 o'clock, and it's going to be whatever it is, okay, good. So, Meiradik. The guy puts on, the end of the year, he's $1 million behind, right? So now he doesn't know what to do. So I can't raise so much with chayv. A rich guy comes to him and says, Rabbi, I'll pay you off the budget, the deficit. But I want some changes. I don't want school on Sunday. I want to go to 3 o'clock. And the guy's going to be the happiest guy to do it because it takes the shibud off him. So obviously his whole plan of being a good guy was going to tver, anything like that. So that's basically what Esav would be. And this is the machlekes between Rivka and Yaakov and Yitzchak. Now, it's a very interesting thing. I think that we have the same machlekes twice. So on Avram and Rivka and Yitzchak about identifying a good kid or bad kid. Right now, the Gemara tells us how to handle it. This is part of when you get married. There's, a lot of shalom bayis, and the problems are she doesn't back me up. Right? I yell at the kid, and she gives him hot chocolate. Right? It's not fair. He doesn't back me up. And the answer is, I'm not supposed to back you up. Because then we have 2 mothers or 2 fathers, and then you're Yosem. You think that the whole idea is a Yosem loses 1. You're not a Yosem when you lose both. You lose 1 is your Yosem. Why are you Yosem by 1? Because you're not balanced anymore. So therefore, if you have too much love, it's no good. Now, each one is trying to buy you, or like by get, each one gives the kid what he wants, therefore he's a spoiled brat. Or by a kid where you're missing the discipline, or you're missing the love, by Yosem. So different thing there. So we have a problem. So the Gemara says, and how do I know this from the Gemara? The Gemara says that everybody knows that a kid wants to be mahana his mother more than the father, because she should be dvorim. So therefore it says, he puts the father before the mother by kibbut, because you want to do the mother, so it's telling you they're equal. By Yira, the father, the disciplinarian, right? So it says, Ish imoy va'ovi Torah, he puts the mother first. Over there, that you should know that the same thing Yira is for both of them. It's a very important lesson, because kids definitely have to learn it, and unfortunately we don't, is that the mother is a shifcha. What she do for you? She does my laundry, she does the shopping, she does the cooking, right? She does the whatever you think there. She cleans my room, right? She's a shifcha. I don't have to respect her, right? Obviously, that's wrong. What's wrong with it? Because the idea is she's the hostess. It's not that she's the host and the bartender is over guy. And I saw this once by Gavir, in there. Like, you go into who serves the schnapps, you go to Chassan, you got a bartender, right? No, not the balabos doesn't stand there pouring the thing. But you come, let's say, to a Sheva Brachas in the house or something, where it's more personal. So the balabos says, I want you to try this, right? And so I was at a house once that had 42-year-old scotch. It's pretty choshev. I don't know what it costs, but it's pretty choshev, okay? And he gives it to a friend of his. And the friend of his was giving it out after that. Like whenever a guy would come in, oh, you should taste this is great, you know, and stuff like that. And I saw the Balabas being very upset that that's my job. I want to be mahana the people, not you. And I don't want to bartender here. I want to do the kibbutz. And that's the thing. So it's very important to how to watch that.
The answer is chidduch. What about shalom bayis?
I'm sorry?
The answer is chidduch.
Oh, so
what about
that's
shalom
what.
bayis?
So now, so how's it get to shalom bayis? So this is the case. I'm saying so. Chayus doch astira. She's nicht that lost in the so then we think. So what is my job? What's the woman's job? The woman's job is to how to take it. So I'll give you a motion. You have a father that eating, when he eats, he has to have menuchas and he don't talk to nobody. He gets away with it, but okay, but he doesn't talk to nobody. So kid comes over to him and says, Dad, I have a bechila tomorrow. Right? I need you to learn with me. Okay, come after supper. After supper, I'll come after supper. He said, I can't. I got a board meeting for the yeshiva tonight. So, I have another mitzvah thing. I have no time for you, kid. Right? But Dad, I have a bechila tomorrow. What am I going to do? Okay, I'll tell you what. Normally I don't like anybody talking to me while I'm eating, but you can say the Gemara, we'll run together while I'm eating. And they learn together, and the kid goes, takes a bechila, and he flunks. Right? So he comes home and he tells the father he flunked. So the father gets very upset. But I gave up my supper for you, I gave up my thing, and you still flunked? That means you weren't listening, you was okay. And he yells at the kid, whatever, I don't think he hit him, he yells at him. And the kid runs out of if he saw his father, he runs into the kitchen to his mother, and he says, I hate him, all he does is yell at me, and this and that and that. So she says, relax, sit down first of all, relax, have some cocoa. And I think that's what they give in camp, so I guess it must be good. I never drank it yet. Have some hot cocoa, and the guy calms down. And then she says to me, after he calms down, you know, you're a smart kid. You know, if you were paying attention, you would have known. So obviously you were playing around. You really weren't paying attention. Why don't you go say you're sorry to Daddy? And whatever it is, and then you gotta ask him a chila. So he goes out, after he feels better now, well, Dad, I'm sorry, you know, I didn't do it. And the father gives him a big kiss, and he goes and says, let's go learn. We'll learn over there, right? So now her job is to make sure that the discipline takes. Otherwise, if you have two fathers, two mothers, it's not going to be any good. So that's her job. So she's back, so she's not supposed to back him up. But I don't oppose you. Don't say, don't listen to your father. Don't care what he says. Then she doesn't listen. But if she doesn't do that, so she's behind you. Okay. So they have. So what is the job of the mother, and what's the job of the father? So the mother, father, Middle of the base says, L'chamachlekes in the Gemara. Middle of the Alma, you're supposed to listen to your wife. Middle of the Shema, you listen to her husband. Middle of the base says, seems to be machlekes. What's the Indian? A woman has a bina yisei, the Gemara, needless says, right? What do you mean? She really smarter? Or because she's more, she sees what's in the house more. In other words, she knows people more. Whatever it is you want to say. Whatever pshat you're going to say. So she knows Yosef. She knows what he does. She knows everything there. She knew Yishmael. So, right? So she's telling Avram. So, who the kid is, that's the mother's job. So Rashi says that Sakem is like that. What happened when she vayetze? It says that Avram felt bad. So Rashi says, what's the way she was handling him? No, because he went out to Tal B'Sra. How did he know she went out? How did he know she went out? Only because Sarah told him. So I believe her. That wasn't the question. Now the question is, I'm supposed to handle it now. What to do about it? You're the Talmud Chacham, so you're supposed to have the method of how to be mekarev with the kid back again. But in this case, Sarah is bigger than Avraham and Nevuah. So he says Shema B'Koila. So therefore, and Avram lost that on both sides over there. Okay, the thing comes to here, to Rivka, the same thing. Rivka identifies that you have a dream that the Yosef is going to share in the thing. It's not going to work. He's going to become the conservative rabbi. He's going to become the thing. He's going to be anti. It's not going to work. The thing there, but she doesn't believe it. But why doesn't he believe it? We know where Rivka comes from. She comes from Lavan and Besuel. So all she sees is a shoyim under the bed. She never sees a good kid, really. Right? She can't understand that he's really a good kid. He just has a Yetzirah, just this, whatever you're going to call it. That was his problems. He didn't believe it. So therefore, he was fighting her. But when he saw that you find that Sarah and Afram, you find a fight right away. By Hagar, right? What do you call it? You have between Rachel and Yaakov. You have a fight in the Torah. You have the medrash between Leah and Yaakov. The only ones that got along were Rivka and I think they all got along. But they always got along. With Rivka and Yitzchak. They were the ideal things. And yet she went and did something. Mamish connected him. She fooled him. That should be a big betrayal. The thing over there. So Yaakov, Yitzchak is a smart man. He sees after when Yosef comes the second time, he comes back, and he tells him, get up and do it. And he says, who are you? I'm Yosef. Who's the guy who came before? Whatever it is there. So he says the next word, Gam Baruch Tiyeh. I gave him the bracha. What can I do, my son? I gave him the bracha, and he'll be blessed. So Rashi says he's the blessed of Chol right from now on. I gave him the bracha now. Now that I gave him the sheker, that's not a bracha. That you don't get. Because I didn't mean it for you. So therefore he wouldn't get that bracha. But now I'm asking to the bracha that Yaakov should get the bracha. That's what Rashi says. So I'm adding all of a sudden now I get the bracha, but why? You disagreed. If Rivka could go to that degree that she's trying to fool me, then she's very convinced that she's right. It's not pshat that there's a machlekes, I hold like this, you hold like that. I know, I went through about it, I thought about it, and I think that. So then, if that's the case, then Gambar here. Then he should be blessed, and the whole thing goes. Okay. And the Iker that the Targum says, I know Benevuah, now you won't find that Rivka was a Neviah. Belamaisa, what was the Nevuah of Shem? The young one is, the older one is going to Rav Yavotzoyer. The older one's going to serve them, so she knew that he's not going to get hurt because he could be around to be served. So that's why he says, I know Benevuah, that nothing's going to happen to you. Because he said, I was afraid of Chokim. He said that. So it doesn't mean she got a new Nevuah. This is the old Nevuah that he's talking about. Okay. Good Shabbos, everyone. I got to go to a convention. He's here? He's here already?
Yes.